Yeah. Beautiful.
All right, 6:30. How's everybody this morning? Be a nice day. Thanks everybody for coming. So this week's week of code of conduct is to strive to maintain a positive and professional image of ECI, our employees, our clients, our vendors, our subcontractors, and the public. So it's definitely a really good topic to think about as we're all wearing ECI logos for a lot of the shirts that we're wearing here today, especially all of our vehicles as we're driving on the roadways, and just, just carry yourself in a very positive, professional manner out there today and each and every day. So 84 days, another 7 days without recordable. Excellent job. We're a lot of risks, a lot of exposures out there, putting a lot of hours. Guys starting to get fatigued and tired. This is when we really need to focus and, really looking out for each other, starting to really care for one of each other so we can really finish this year out really strong. And we do that by just picking up when someone's down, talking with somebody, making good eye contact and being real personal with people. And if there is conflict, let's bring it to the right people and let's take care of it right there and then. Let's not let things fester out there in the field. So continue with those JHAs. They're one of the most important systems that we have to work safe each and every day by identifying those hazards, figuring out our proper controls, and executing our plan. So this week, I wanted to get involved a little bit about overhead power. We have a lot of exposure right now in a lot of projects, and we have some projects coming up that we're going to have a high potential for, breaching some of our proper distances with our overhead power. So we're going to talk about that. But before, I got a little video here. Hopefully it's kind of a scare you straight type of mentality that we need to stay away from overhead power lines. Hopefully this works. So it's always around us. Every single day, we might not really give it maybe the proper respect that it needs each and every day. But overhead power is there. It's present, and we need to make sure that we follow. Excuse me. Yeah. Difficulties here. Come on. Come on. Change slides. Change slides. How's this? Perfect. Sorry. Opened up two screens. So we need to make sure we follow some safe, proper procedures. A couple little things that sometimes get miscommunication out there is overhead lines are typically not insulated, so you might see those orange barriers. Okay, that's just really for sight distance, and it generally is just weather protection. It's not anything with insulation, so we can never breach that 10-foot when you're talking about aerial lifts, excavators, dozers, whatever you think that might come in contact or come close to there. Over 90% of contacts occur on distribution lines, so it's really not really our high tension transmission lines. But again, right here, right in front of the office, every lot of job sites that we go, especially in those live substations, there's a high potential there. Operators are normally safe if they stay inside the machine, as long as the machine is not catching fire. Then we have that situation where we have a bailout situation, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then ground personnel are over 8 times more likely to be killed because the machine that comes in contact with is now energized if you go up and touch that machine, or you also have that stop potential because it could be arcing through the machine and into the ground, and then there's a a field around the machine that is, there's unequal potential. If you step through that unequal potential, it can potentially kill you. We talk about more of that in substation work. So when we talk about our maintaining our safe working clearances, is all equipment, ladders, scaffolding, trucks, forklifts, etc. must maintain a minimum of 10 feet distance for 50 kV or less. So, and then we add 0.4 inches, all depends on the voltage that's going through our typical lines. So 10 feet is just guidance. You know, once you get into higher ranges of distribution lines, you know, it's really that 12-foot mark, that 15 mark. You know, 15 is a great rule of thumb to make sure we're keeping our dump trucks, our equipment 15 feet away from all power lines when we're not inside a live substation. So cranes is 25. So here's some examples of some, you know, getting really close to things where we might need spotters. We might need to actually have the surveyors come out and double check. Also, one of the best things we could do is use cones. If you line up a line of cones underneath the power lines, you can kind of get a good vantage points. Okay, here's where the lines are. Here's where our machine is. You can kind of almost create a triangle of a good eyesight of how to properly maintain that distances from overhead power lines. We also have some other ways is to install flagging, as we've done here on this site at one time. It just helps be able to visually see these power lines, so we make sure we don't breach that tolerance zone. So it is difficult for an operator to see power lines. Designate a spotter. If you cannot maintain adequate clearances, you must have the power company insulate or move or de-energize. Again, that's a lot of that is in the pre-planning of a project. If we can move poles, great. You know, GMP's done a wonderful job for us so far in this season by coming out and at least putting up proper visual barriers for us. But again, it does take time, so we really need to act on a way. So when you're on a site and you see something, say something so we can act on it. And then we also have signage. We have plenty of overhead power line signs available. They're in the tent out back, but if you have a hard time locating them, come find us and we can point you in the right direction, just so everyone's aware of there is danger. Because one thing with power is you don't get a second chance. That's kind of what that video showed, is like when we do strike overhead power, it is a very serious situation that can really alter the lives of everybody in this room. So we really need to respect it, really pay attention to it from here, hopefully throughout the construction season, because we're going to be working in close proximity to power lines over the next couple months. So, is there any questions? Okay. Pass over to Ken. And you should be all set, Ken.
Okay. So we got some new hires this week. Michael Image and Todd Pico. Are either of you guys here?
Michael's up sleeping in his truck.
I worked last night.
Yeah.
He's one of the drivers then. Huh?
Todd's in Virginia. So.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And then hopefully you get your fuel cards by now. If not, I think you're going to have some troubles. And of course, I'm still on this point to make sure you get your time in soon after from the previous day, so that the information is useful, meaningful, and real and current. And then for a project, we are profiling the recently completed VTrans New Haven project. There's a contract number up here, so NH for New Haven, and this was a grade crossing improvement project at the New Haven Junction crossing. And our scope of work included reconstruction of grade crossing, degrade crossing, including replacement of precast with precast track panels. Actually, the cast in place we took out from a few years ago. Timber crossing ties and rail and other track materials, OTM. So some ballast spot tie replacement, surface and line tracks. We put in a new crossing warning system, so new equipment in the cases and everything. Replacement of signal flashers and addition of the gate mechanisms for each approach. We had some HDD installed conduits, and there was some miscellaneous stitching, grading, new guardrail signage, line striping, etc. So this was an image from the contract drawings. It's a true track crossing. So the main line and the siding. So yeah, this is the main and the siding. I kind of thought of it different, but I guess that's the way it is. And here we are. This is right there at the junction with Phoenix Grain and the old station there, right at the crossing. So this must be the main. Is that the main over there? Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was right. I was right initially. I just got confused looking at it.
Closest to the building.
Right. Yeah.
Working on the siding.
Yep. Working on the siding there. That's what I thought. So I confused myself there. So there's Phil Horton inside the signal case, ready to terminate a whole bunch of wires. And these were very stiff wires. The copper conductor was almost as big as your finger on some of these. And there's Ron down there on the opposite side, stuffing the wires in, organizing them and everything. There's a shot after it was done, more recently, a couple weeks ago. And see, we got new gates, and the surfaces are all done there. Little restoration, and you can see where the ditching was done. We got their project photo archives. This is actually Robbins Mountain. Oh boy, I don't know what year that was, but I would say around 2000. And this is looking towards the interstate. I think that would be the interstate down there. Robbins Mountain is the one. There's actually a Fish and Wildlife access or owned property there by the shooting range from what do they call that? The
Chittenden County Fish and Game.
Yes, the Chittenden Fish and Game, and it's so this whole mountain is public access for the most part. So for hunting and stuff, there's pretty good deer hunting in there. But this is up there. There's a cell tower on the top. We were working for Verizon Wireless or something.
Oh, yes,
This is 1999.
1990. What's that, Brian?
Going on a pole.
I don't remember. It might have been.
We hung the wire.
Yeah, it might have been Mike Wright.
Yep.
Mike Wright did a lot of climbing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Well, that's what we got. Have a good day. And so we got, let's see, Stan and Sean Burke and Charlie Sutry. We got shirts for you for the golf team shirts. You're playing golf tomorrow. Thanks. Yeah. I'm getting my light.
John Austin.